Hi, I'm Corinne Winter, the founder of Mission B, and we're a nonprofit bringing mindfulness into schools. I'm so excited to have you with us today for a lesson on happiness and gratitude. A lot of the times we think that happiness is something that we can achieve by accomplishing some sort of a goal or achieving some sort of a relationship success or socioeconomic or academic success. But a lot of research shows that happiness is actually something that we can cultivate through inner practice, through practices like gratitude and positive thinking. So before we start, I'd like to guide you all in a mindfulness practice. So let's come to a comfortable seated position and softly and gently close our eyes. And just begin to notice where you feel the breath in your body. Notice the breath rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. Inhale, the belly and heart rise. And exhale, the heart and belly fall. Breathing in, feeling the breath rise. And breathing out, feeling the breath fall. I'd like you just to notice how long your inhalations and exhales are. We want to make sure that our exhalation's a little longer than our inhalation. So you can utilize a counting practice just to kind of get an idea of how long your inhales are and how long your exhales are. So let's do that together now and just count the length of your inhale. And then count the length of your exhale. And now continue to breathe at your own pace and count. And we're going to do that for 1 minute in silence. And you want to kind of ideally make your inhale a minimum of 6 breaths and your exhale a minimum of 7. So starting now. Good. So yeah, when you do breath counting, you just want to make sure that you're breathing in and out for long enough and that all the attention is on breathing in and out of the nose. Now I'd like to lead us in a body scan. What we're going to do is we're going to relax first the right side of the body and then the left side of the body. So if you have an opportunity to lay down for the next 5 minutes, that would be really wonderful. We're going to start today's practice with a deep relaxation where we normally end with a deep relaxation. But we realize that a lot of people are stressed right now, so we want to just kind of offer it to you in a very restorative way for this lesson. So if you can lie down, and we're going to just do a body scan by relaxing our entire body. So close your eyes. We're just going to begin by relaxing our right arm. So take a deep breath in and feel the weight of your right arm and your right fingertips and your right shoulder, and feel the heaviness of your right arm as you breathe in and breathe out. Feel the right shoulder relax and soften. And then as you inhale and exhale, just notice the difference between your right side and your left side. And then take another deep breath in and just softly and gently roll the left shoulder back and down and invite the left shoulder to relax. The left arm to relax down to your left fingertips. And breathe in and breathe out and feel both your arms relax. And then inhale and physically roll the shoulders back and down. And we're going to take a deep breath in through the front of the body. Feel the belly and the chest. And as we exhale, we're going to invite a cascade of relaxation to wash down your back, feeling this wave of relaxation washing all the way down your neck and shoulders, all the way down your back to your lower back. So you can feel your entire upper body relax. And then you're going to begin to relax your legs. So you're going to feel first your right leg relax. So relax the back of your right thigh and the back of your right calf. And then the back of the ankle, and feel the weight of the leg resting on your bed or your couch. And then we're going to breathe in and breathe out, and we're just going to now invite the left leg to relax. So invite the entire left thigh and calf and foot and ankle to relax. Feel the weight of your left leg fully relaxing. And now feel your lower body and your hips relax, and your entire body from head to toe fully relaxing. And we're just going to invite our body to rest for 2 minutes, and I'm going to time us for 2 minutes. I'm just going to invite you to really allow yourself to breathe into this moment of deep relaxation. Breathe into this moment of peace. Oftentimes with mindfulness, it's really important that we just allow ourselves kind of the time and the space to fully let go, to fully rest before we learn. So often we go from one thing to the next, and we're busy on the computer, we're busy sitting. So it's nice to change positions and to take a rest or a nap before we start something new. So I'm going to set my timer. And at the sound of the bell, you're going to close your eyes, and I want you to just focus on your breath for 2 minutes. So at the sound of the bell, it's going to start in any moment now. I'm going to time us for 2 minutes, and just bring your attention back to your breath every time your mind wanders. You have 1 minute left. So for the next minute, just continue to focus on your breath. Relax your body from head to toe. So at the sound of the bell, we're just going to do a quick visualization. One more breath in. One more breath out. And as we're lying down, we're just going to begin to visualize that we're laying in a beautiful field of flowers. Colors are purple and pink and yellow. You can imagine the tulips in the spring or roses. And just imagine that there's all these beautiful flowers around you and you're totally at ease and you're totally peaceful. Imagine the sunlight warm upon your face and your body resting and relaxing. And as you softly and gently breathe in and out, just think of one thing that makes you happy. One thing that makes you feel joyful. And just bring that thing into your heart and into your mind. And then place both your hands on your belly, telling yourself it's safe to relax in this moment and that everything's going to be okay no matter what. And just continue to deepen your breath, softly and gently breathing in, and softly and gently breathing out. Inhaling and exhaling. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, and if you're lying down, you can just bring, or you're sitting, you can just bring your knees into your chest. So bring both your knees into your chest. And then inhale and lift your heart. And exhale, just hug your chin into your chest. Feel your spine open. And then extend your left leg along the bed or the couch or back to the floor. And cross the right leg over the left. And take your left hand and bring it to the outside of your right knee and pull your right knee all the way over to the left as you extend your right arm along the side of your body. So you're basically just pulling your right knee all the way over to the left. So it would look like this. Just take the knee and pull it all the way over like that to one side. And come back to center and pull the other knee all the way over to that side. Good. So just stretching your lower back, your hips. And then just when you're done, you can hug both your knees in towards your chest. And if you're sitting in a chair, you can bring your feet on the top of the chair and just give yourself a hug. So wrapping your arms around your knees and curling up. And breathing here. So this curling position actually helps relax us and helps us move into a sympathetic system. When we're in utero, we're actually curled up like little balls, right? This is actually a very comfortable position to be in, and it's calming to our nervous system to curl up like that. So if you can do it laying down is best or sitting up. So take a couple deep breaths in. And if you want to continue to lay down and put some pillows behind your head and sit up a little bit, you can do that. But I invite you to enjoy this 1 out of 10 lessons in a resting reclined position. All right, so now we're going to explore what is happiness. So I want you to just think for a moment, what is happiness? How do I define happiness? Happiness is really things that bring us, it's when we experience a feeling of joy, of elation, of excitement, of just a feeling that's ignited within us. And when this happens, we secrete these hormones called dopamine and serotonin. And there's a cascade of positive feeling and energy that runs through our body that helps protect us from stress and helps us feel healthier. A lot of the times, laughter, they say, is the best medicine. Studies have shown that if people watch happy movies and comedies and even short comedic skits, that they increase more dopamine and serotonin. And simply smiling, just smiling, can actually help you feel happier. So happiness is pretty easy, but not always. Sometimes we might feel depressed and sad, and it gets a little more challenging. And we can talk about that later. But what I first want to talk about is what's the difference between happiness and pleasure, right? So sometimes we think like ice cream makes us happy, right? Or what else is a good one? Let's just stick with ice cream, right? So ice cream makes us happy. So going out for ice cream, in fact, with friends could bring a lot of joy into your life. But really, ice cream is more of something that brings us pleasure. And pleasure is something that typically is experienced after we have a desire for something, and then that desire is met, and that desire brings us pleasure. So things like ice cream don't necessarily bring us happiness, they bring us more pleasure. Now, some people might argue with that, right? So we're just distinguishing between happiness and pleasure. So here we have a girl that looks pretty happy. What can make me happier? So can intelligence make us happier? Studies have shown, and the research has shown, that intelligence cannot make us happier. Free time actually can make us happier. People that have limited free time tend to not be as happy. Volunteering actually has been scientifically proven to bring us happiness and joy. And being attractive, can that make us happier? Actually, studies have shown it cannot in any way make us happier. That's good news, because it would really be sucky if all the most attractive people, whatever that means, were happier. Being funny can make us happier, so be as funny as you can. And self-esteem can make us happier, so feeling good about ourselves, feeling positive about ourselves, that can make us happier. And we could actually work on that. That's something that we can work on improving, as well as being funny. You can actually learn how to be funny. And money cannot make us happier. But extreme poverty, where we have lack of food, water, or shelter, can actually impact our sense of happiness, but only in a small way, which I'm going to get into in details in a little bit. So happiness decreases when we are materialistic. So if we value money a lot and we have like an illusion that money is going to bring us joy and happiness, that kind of thought or way of thinking or values can actually impact our level of happiness. Now, does that mean we stop striving for material things, or we say that wanting money is bad? No, I believe that it's okay to want material things that bring us a sense of satisfaction or joy, right? But being materialistic actually lowers our level of happiness. Being negative as a whole, as you guys know by now, I'm always thirsty. So I say this is a commercial water break. So drink water, it's good for you. When we're negative, it can make us pretty unhappy. Like negativity is really kind of like the opposite of happiness. So if we notice that we're caught in a negativity cycle, it's really important to put the brakes on that as much as we humanly can by doing things like affirmations and rerouting those negative thoughts. We go into that in some of the other lessons like positive believing and self-compassion. Stress can lower our happiness. So one of the best ways that we can be happy is lowering our stress. It isn't the goal of getting a college degree and getting into a healthy relationship and all of these things that we're striving for, getting good grades. Isn't the goal of all of that to try to help make us happy? The funny thing is, happiness is not ever in the future. It's always in the now. It's never available in the future. It's only available in this moment. In this moment is the only place that we can actually find it. So if we're able to cope with our stress on a day-to-day basis and not hold our breath and wait till we are happy or wait till we've accomplished something or wait till we've achieved something, we're actually going to be much better off in the long run. And we'll be able to cultivate happiness in the present moment. Isolation is one thing that can affect happiness. And after being in COVID-19, this pandemic that we have been experiencing, many of us know that isolation can cause depression and it can affect our happiness. But a lot of that can be mitigated by making phone calls with people, by doing interactive videos with our friends, by hugging our family members, by petting our pets, by connecting with nature, by volunteering online and doing things like that. So we can decrease our social isolation digitally until we're able to go back into a world where we can interact with everyone. Holding grudges or staying angry. So anger and resentment can make us unhappy. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to, doesn't mean short, acute anger is something we want to avoid. Like, the feeling of anger is something that we all naturally feel. We've been betrayed or hurt, but grudges are different. Grudges are like things that we hold on to. So let's say someone betrayed us a year ago, and we can't stop thinking about that person, and we can't stop thinking about how angry we are at the person. That kind of grudge and long-term anger can affect our happiness. And we have a whole lesson on forgiveness. And if you're someone who feels like you're holding on to a grudge, I can email you the forgiveness lesson if you send me an email to Carin, CARIN, @missionbe.org, because that's a really, really important thing to work through. And we don't go over forgiveness in this lesson, but I really feel like it's one of the most essential lessons to learn as an adolescent. And it's something that can help you cultivate happiness lifelong. So can money buy happiness? And this is where I said we're going to get more into that piece. So this is an interesting fact. And I have to say, New York, these are national numbers. So I feel like if you're watching this in New York or the Bay Area of California, you could always just tack on an extra 10 grand because it's so expensive to live where we're living, like here on Long Island, like many of you are watching today from Long Island. But making more than $50K annually for a year for a US family of 4 actually does not bring us happiness. Now, some of us would argue that because some of us would say that that doesn't allow us to meet our basic needs. But, and it could cause stress and hardship. But as far as the happiness barometer is concerned, believe it or not, making a lot of money doesn't really make us that much happier. There's actually no difference between whether you make $100K a year or $5 million a year. So if you are a junior in high school and you're starting to consider what you want your major be, or a senior, or maybe you're a sophomore in college, I decided 2 days before my junior year my major, so don't feel like you have to decide right now in this moment. But there's actually no difference in happiness from 100K to 5 million. Now, most of your parents don't want me encouraging you to make less money, but think about it for a moment. If you have a beautiful room like this room I'm in now, which wasn't that expensive, if you have a place to lay your head and a comfortable bed and a refrigerator with food, that's pretty much all you need to create happiness. Food, a place to sleep, and a place to work or hang out with your family. So most of us do not need over 100K a year to do that. So if you're not happy after that and money is being named as the cause, you probably have to look into going into a little bit of a deeper dive about what you can do differently and how you can think differently. There was this awesome study on lottery winners and people who became paralyzed. And when they returned to their regular lives, they had the same measure of happiness. Now, this is a piece of data that's been going around for a long time. So it's very interesting. So happiness leads to success, and success does not necessarily lead to happiness. Good fact to remember. So when the brain is, I should say, is positive, when the brain positive is, so when the brain is 31%, when the brain is positive, we are 31% more effective. I think that's what I meant to say there. So when the brain is positive, we are 31% more productive than when the brain is negative, neutral, or stressed. I can totally agree with this. In the last year, I decided instead of working 60 or 70 hours a week, I'd work 40 hours a week. I was way happier, and we tripled our impact at my company, and we doubled our budget, and we affected like way more kids than we ever have. And I feel like I was actually more productive because I took care of myself more and I was more protective of my time. I spent less time on social media, only 15 minutes a day minimum and 45 maximum. I prioritized my exercise in the morning and I prioritized connection with nature. And I found that that type of happiness and balance actually improved my level of success. Now, this is not like me bragging. I'm not any sort of genius in the field of happiness by any means. But I think we need to really consider, like, are we overstudying? Are we over striving? Do we really need to get into that school? Or is it okay if we get into our second pick? You know, are we going to stress ourselves out to no end and lose our state of happiness just for some future outcome that might not even make that big of a difference? Now, does that mean that we're complacent and we don't do our best and we don't try hard? No, I believe every single day we should get every single day our best effort. Every single day we should do our best to achieve academically, socially, emotionally, in our relationships. I think we should be the best person that we can be. But should we burn ourselves out and exhaust ourselves and overstudy and beat ourselves up because we didn't get a perfect grade? Absolutely not. And remember, the teenage brain is still developing rapidly up until age 19, and it doesn't fully develop until age 25. And the more stressed your brain is, the more it affects neural connectivity and brain development. So if you're walking around mega stressed, it's probably like the worst thing you can do for your future success. So I always say strive for success, but do not strive for perfection. All right, cool. So some of your AP teachers might not like that. They might be like, what? You need to, work extra hard. But guess what? An A- is cool. A B+ is awesome. And sometimes you get a C. It's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay no matter what. So just keep that in mind. All right, one thing that makes us happy is, what is one thing that makes you happy? So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. We're going to do a meditation. And I want you to bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Put my chair around. And I want you to just think of, let's just take a couple breaths here. So let's inhale. And exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. Breathing in. And breathing out. So one hand's on your belly, the other's on your heart. If you haven't laid back down yet, I want you to lie down. And just feel your belly and your heart and just send yourself unconditional acceptance. Feel yourself fully arriving in your body with your breath. Let's just sit together for 1 minute of silence. It's around 6 breaths, 6 inhales and 6 exhales. So starting now. So take 2 more breaths. You might notice that I make my breath audible. So sometimes just feeling that audible breath helps calm us down. Breathing in and out of the nose. I want you to bring into your heart one more thing that makes you happy in your life. It could be spending time with a sibling or a friend, or going out in nature, connecting with people that you care about, succeeding, accomplishing something you've always dreamed of. It could just be listening to your favorite song. So just think of one thing that brings you a little joy. Just breathe it into your heart. And then just think of one person that makes you smile. And if you can't think of a person, you can think of an animal or an experience. And just bring that thing into your heart. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Come back to the present moment. Good. So what's at the root of our happiness? So this one research study that I read, and if you want, I can send you the link to this, says that 90% of your happiness, this is real research, not like made up research, this is the real deal. 90% of our happiness is based on our inner environment, and 10% is from our outer environment. Now, of course, that'd be different if you were living in an environment that is abusive or something really challenging. But the majority of the time, it's our inner environment. So it's how are we thinking? Viktor Frankl said, the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance, something along those lines. But the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. You could probably Google that, it's a little different, but what it means basically is no matter what kind of situation we're in, no matter who we're interacting with, no matter how much is on our plate, that we have a choice to choose our inner environment. We have a choice moment to moment to moment to choose our perception and how we're going to view things and how we're going to interface or interact with the world. So it takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight, but our inner environment is really important. Now, this can be a little alarming because we might think, oh man, I might think, well, my 50% of our happiness is from our genes, but what if you think like, oh, well, one of my parents doesn't seem happy, they seem cranky, or one of my, I don't know, maybe I don't have happy genes, right? But it doesn't matter because 40%, I guess 10% here was intentional. I don't know where the other 10% went. That's going to stay a mystery. This is a second study with a missing 10%. But 40% of your happiness in this study, which kind of is counterintuitive to the other study, comes from intentional activities. Oh, I know why. Because by intentional activities, they mean, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Are you intending to be present? Are you intending to be positive? Are you intending to be this? So this study and this study, I want to see if I have the links to the studies here so you guys and gals can look them up. Okay, I think I do here. Just pull this up. Yep. So I'll put this in the chat window. It looks like it's from the same piece of research. Oh, I can't put it in the chat window, but you can see there if you want to write it down. And research proves that happiness is possible through intentional habits. So if you want to read that there, and then you can write down that, hold on. You could write down that, I'm trying to see if I can pull it up here. I'm just going to spell it out loud because it's not working over here. Lyubomirsky and Sheldon, Sheldonetal 2005. So it's an old study. But what it says is that basically it proves that a lot of our happiness is rooted in, stop sharing, in our intentional activity and how we interface with the world and how we connect with the world. And let's face it, if our genes do have to do with happiness, and part of it's our biochemistry and we can't control that, we might as well control the other part that we can. Okay, so I wasn't able to send that to you guys. I tried to do it through the app too, but I couldn't figure it out. All right, you could probably just Google tons of research on happiness. So how can we cultivate more happiness? So I'm going to walk you through a couple tips on how to do so. One thing, and you might want to write these down. So if you're lying down, you can type these into your phone or take notes on a piece of paper. So try to write these tips down. We're going to go through, I think, five or more tips. So one thing is to be generous. Happiness increases when we're generous, and generosity increases when we're happy. So the happier we are, the more generous we are. And the more generous we are, the more happy we are, which is pretty awesome. The next thing is a sense of belonging. So I do have the research link bigger here so we can write it down. Happiness increases when we surround ourselves with people who are positive and do not isolate. So once again, if you are experiencing quarantine or isolation, you all understand how difficult that is and the importance of connecting with other people and belonging, whether it's on a group or chat or whatever. And that piece of research came from Dr. Emma, who also teaches at Stanford, where I substitute teach. And she says it comes from connection. So connection and belonging. Come on, Google Docs. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, the next one is happiness increases when we give our times or a cause to volunteer for something. So when we are of service to others and when we're helpful to others. It increases when we're positive, and it increases when we're grateful. So gratitude is like medicine. In my family, I grew up, I said a couple of times, in a house with 7 kids. So we didn't always have our needs met. We'd be like, I want a new pair of sneakers. And my dad would be like, well, did they have holes in them yet? Because if not, you can wait. Because he always said he grew up with holes in his sneakers. So we can wait till we have holes in ours. But most of the times he would give us sneakers before that happened, but not always. So he made a beautiful poster above our stairs that said, gratitude is the attitude. And that kind of became an affirmation in our house. So gratitude is the attitude. And we made bumper stickers a couple years ago, and we gave them out to like everyone in our town in Islip. And just to be grateful for what you have, to be grateful for all the wonderful things in your life. And if all you have is a meal and clean water and a roof over your head, no matter what kind of roof it is, then that's something to be grateful for. If we have just one friend that loves us, or one cat or dog that loves us, or we have the fact that we love the sky, or we get to smell a flower, or we have music that we can listen to and we feel a connection through that music, we can have gratitude for those things. So it doesn't have to be some big, huge thing, you know? You don't need like a Tesla to be grateful, or like the best sneakers in the world, right? You just need one pair of shoes, right? So another thing that makes people super mega happy is when we forgive. And like I said, I'm willing to send you my forgiveness slides and my forgiveness data. But we're happier when we forgive, and we have healthier relationships when we forgive. Oh, I love this one. I just love this slide. Isn't it pretty? I love feathers. Sorry. When we are vulnerable and we act like our true selves. So sometimes we're like, people are inauthentic. They try to fit in with others, and they change who they are to be part of something. And even if that group is being negative because it's culturally normative to be negative, or it's culturally normative to make fun of people, or it's culturally normative to be so overachieving that we're so overstressed, right? If we can just be true to ourselves, be our true selves, be our best selves, be positive, be loving, be like a light in the darkness for other people that maybe are being negative or being gossiping. But if we can be our true selves, and our true nature is that of love, is that of compassion, is that of kindness, then we could really, truly cultivate happiness. And in that is vulnerability. So vulnerability just means like when we are honest with others, like when we say, you know what, I'm having a really hard time. The other day, a friend of mine was feeling sad and depressed, and he kept this in him for a while. And it was due to all the social isolation everyone was experiencing. And I said, so what's going on? What are you feeling? And once he shared what he was feeling and he was vulnerable, the next day he felt better. He felt happier. His depression had lifted. So sharing our vulnerable feelings, like, you know what? Not just always like going on social media and posting like our happiest, most beautiful picture. Maybe posting like, today was a hard, stressful day. And then if everybody can just keep it real and be honest, we don't have to be like fake happy. We can be real happy because we've shared our other side, the part of us that's not maybe doing so hot, right? Another easy, simple way that everyone knows, because like your parents and health teachers and stuff have been telling you this for years, is one way we can be happy is by exercising. And exercising is like a super easy way to be happy. Just go for a walk, go for a run, and lift weights. So can I be happy all of the time? No. The answer is no, probably not. Like, because our emotions are like the waves and we just have to ride the waves. So just know that if you're riding a wave of sadness right now, that a new wave is going to come up. If you're riding a wave of isolation or you're riding a wave of anxiety, just breathe in and breathe out and say, even though I'm anxious, it's safe for me to relax. Even though I'm sad, it's safe for me to feel my feelings. And then breathe in and breathe out and think of one thing you're grateful for if you're feeling sad. You know, think of one thing that's brought you joy in the past year or so, or longer. So yeah, I think that that's a really important thing to note, that we can't be happy all the time. I don't think it's possible. But we can train ourselves to be happier and happier. So just to kind of summarize that, happiness increases, if you want to screenshot this, when we're giving, when we spend time with others, we're positive and grateful, we volunteer and help people, we forgive, we're vulnerable, and we're healthy. And let me tell you, this is not something I made up. I literally spent like an entire week creating this lesson and making sure that I had like data points from all over the place. So this is the real deal. This is not, this is based on research from top universities around the world. Universities like Stanford, and I don't know all the rest of them because I didn't write it down, but I have a ton of data in there. So I want you to reflect and just think about some ways that you can be giving, that you can spend time with others, not just looking at their social media, but connecting with them through it. Is there a way that you could be more positive or more grateful? Is there something you can do to volunteer? We always need volunteers. You can volunteer for us. We welcome you with open arms, missionb.org. Be forgiving. That was my infomercial. Be forgiving. Start by forgiving small things, like somebody misplaced your hairbrush. Forgive them. Forgive little things. Be vulnerable. Be your authentic, true self. The best authors and writers and speakers around the globe are vulnerable. They share their hardship. They share what's happening with them. When I'm vulnerable on social media, I get more likes. And I've been researching this like anecdotally on my own post, which isn't really research. It's just self-observation, by the way. On like my likes, my number one liked post of last year was my most vulnerable post about something that I was grieving. And vulnerability cracks open people's hearts and it helps them feel connected to you. And the more we feel connected to others, the happier we'll be. So the more authentic we can be, the more real we can be, the more positive we can be, the more people want to hang out with us and be around us, because who wants to hang out with someone that's being negative and gossiping? Gossiping actually reduces those positive stress hormones and it makes people want to spend less time with us. So just think about, there's a link there on how to reduce materialism. There's tons of links on gratitude. You can go to gratefulness.org. They have tons of resources with my friend, Brother David. And let's just close with a happiness practice. So let's sit for a moment and just feel our breath in our bodies. And close our eyes. I just want you to think of one thing that brings you joy in your life. Maybe it's jumping in a swimming pool or the ocean. Maybe it's walking on a path through the woods. Maybe it's watching something funny on TV. Maybe it's just talking to your best friend or petting your cat or dog. And just breathe into your heart and breathe into your belly. And if anyone out there is not feeling happy and you're feeling sad or depressed, just know that there's people out there for you. There's your family that you can reach out to. There's your friends. There's hotlines that you can call and access. You can just Google depression hotlines. There's so many resources out there to help support you during challenging times. And just know that we are here for you at Mission B to provide you with endless data and research and practices around mindfulness and joy and happiness and compassion. And it's always my pleasure to be with you. Again, my name is Corinne Winter. I'm the founder of missionbe.org, and it was a pleasure to be with all of you today. Thank you for joining me.